We are your independent music source, 91.7 WSGE. Welcome to our Independent Artist Spotlight. It is Women's History Month, and here at WSGE, we are celebrating all the female musicians throughout the month. And starting us off, we have the honor, Miss PJ Brunson.
Good morning, Tim Greene.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
I am exceptionally just awesome like you.
Well, you look it.
Well, thank you. I concur, you too.
Well, thank you.
So now you came in, bright, and she's always early. Are
I try.
you really a musician? Because usually they show up 10 minutes late. Oh, my bus, and it's like, hey, let's get some coffee.
Yeah, apparently I have some traits that run contrary to the musician. I don't know, but yes, I'm a musician.
Yeah, and a fabulous one at that.
Oh, bless your heart. Thank you.
Good. Now, we're celebrating this female artist, and you, as an exceptional female artist, your next appearance is going to be in Rock Hill, South Carolina at Lido Pizza.
Yep.
That's March 19th, 8 p.m. And then Zoe's Saturday, June 11th, multi-artist night. Is that a lot of female artists?
We haven't picked yet. It's to be determined. I'd like to get a couple of female artists in there, but I have some friends in the area, too, that would be great on the bill as well. So just have a night of original music, So
good.
Looking forward to going back to Zoe's. I haven't been there in a while.
Okay. So, who were some of the females that influenced you coming up? Say, when you were younger, who inspired you to do what you do?
Well, it was a great time to grow up as a female aspiring guitarist and songwriter, because there was my daddy was really into country music, and there was Dolly Parton, who was coming up, who I still adore. She's one of my favorites. And Joan Baez was on the Coffee singing with Bob Dylan, Carole King.
Yeah.
Carole King, that Tapestry album, it was life-changing. I was in high school at the time when that came out. And Janis Ian.
Yeah.
Janis Ian
I
was
learned
out.
The truth.
Right.
17.
Emmylou Harris.
Okay, wow.
Joni Mitchell. It's like that was the stuff that I grew up with, and it was just an amazing is a female singer. And then Carly Simon came along.
So all of those females what was do you remember the first song you heard about one of those females where you said, that's it, I got it? It sparked your brain to just make these great songs.
Dolly Parton's Jolene was a big one for me.
Okay.
That was I loved that song. That one just pulled you in. And Emmylou Harris had done Wayfaring Stranger, so there was the whole gospel thing going on with that. And then Dolly and Emmylou and Linda Ronstadt got together, and there was the trio. And there was all that harmony, that was just an amazing time in music.
Yeah, so does that help influence your songwriting when you see what, say, some female songwriters go through and you want to, write about it?
I think so. I think there's a different perspective that women write from than men. And I think, for one thing, a lot of times it's a more high-level worldly perspective. It's just the nurturer in women that kind of comes through in the music.
Yeah.
So yeah, then there's still, even today, Alison Krauss out there. Gosh, there's just a whole generation of young singer-songwriters that will just can knock your socks off. So
yeah. So, including you.
Well, thank you.
No. When Jay Taylor and myself, we saw you, I said, you are a pro. Because you was just killing the guitar. I'm like, wow, look at her fingers. Can she slow down? And of course, we had to have you on the show. So nice. We had to have you on twice.
I appreciate that. It's always an honor to be here with you guys.
Thank you. And so, some of the other female artists that I've seen you, perform with, and they put you on their Facebook pages.
I know.
So I was like, wait a minute. And I'm, in Los Angeles, when I'm getting ready to go to, they're like, wait a minute, that's my fan page. I don't want no one fantasizing about PJ Brunson on my page.
Oh, come on, share, Tim. It's okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's a great thing. So as female artists, how do you guys, work that out?
Yeah, I think there's been, in fact, recently, a big movement. In fact, you mentioned Shane Coons and
shout out to Shane.
Shane, and there's a place in Charlotte, Eagles Peak Coffee House. Sarah Kelly has turned that little coffee house setting right there on South Boulevard in Charlotte into it's a musical mecca. It's a musician's room.
Yeah.
And Shane and Shannon Lee have started doing a songstress sessions. once a month, only female songwriters, and every time I go to one of those, I'm like, wow, where did you come from? These people are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they're local.
Yeah.
And it's, of course, Charlotte's had a rich history. I mean, they had Gigi Dover, they had Doubting Thomas, these, Donna Duncan, who I've known for many years and adore. She's like Charlotte's Bonnie Raitt. Bonnie Raitt was another one that was a big influence on me. So Charlotte just has a plethora. I mean, Darryl Rice. Remember Darryl Rice?
Wow.
These were all local Charlotte women, So Charlotte does not slack on women musicians. Never has been. That's been going on for years.
Yeah. So speaking of phenomenal and exceptional and fabulous female artists like yourself, you're going to give us a song.
I am.
So what was the meaning behind the first song, Sweetheart's Arms?
Sweetheart's Arms is a song that I wrote for my grandmother. My grandmother was 94 when she passed away, and about 6 months before she did pass, it occurred to me that she wasn't going to be here very long. And my granddad was like 52 years old when he passed away, and they had a wonderful love affair. She never remarried, never dated. According to her, she had the best, and she wasn't even going to try to find a replacement for that. But they had a spirited relationship too. He liked to take a little nip every once in a while, and she was a teetotaler, and it caused a couple of riffs here and there.
Okay.
But the only thing I ever remember him calling her a sweetheart.
Excellent.
And it was just a sweet love that they shared. And he played guitar. He was a lot like Andy of Mayberry, Andy Griffith, And she loved it, and she wanted me to learn to play because he did. In fact, she bought me my first real guitar. I learned to play on a Sears Silvertone that I stole from my brother. My mom and dad had bought it for him, and he never picked it up. So I said, "You gonna play that?" He goes, "No, I'm taking it." So I did. But I was gonna be on this television program in Columbia, and my granny goes, "She needs a real guitar." So my grandma took me down to the pawn shop, and so I had picked out this Epiphone jumbo body white pine. It was a blind guitar. I think it was about as big as I was.
Wow.
But she bought me that guitar, and so years later, this is the song that I wrote for her and my grandpa.
Excellent. So here we are, Sweetheart's Arms, PJ Brunson on our Independent Artist Spotlight.
Standing by the road, the prettiest blue-eyed blonde ever seen. He was a brown-eyed handsome man. He reached for her, she took his hand, and that's the way they started, so I'm told. He'll be sleeping in his sweetheart's arms tonight. They'll be dancing by the light of God's pure light. For 20 years he's been alone, but tonight he's going home, and he'll be sleeping in his sweetheart's arms tonight. Took her home, made her his wife. For 30 years they shared a life. 4 children through the laughter and the tears. She cooked his supper every night while he sang by candlelight. His sweetheart was the only name he used, and he'll be sleeping arms tonight. Yes, they'll be dancing by the light of God's pure light. For 30 years he's been alone, but tonight he's going home, and he'll be sleeping in his sweetheart's arms tonight. so clear. In her heart those years she stayed right by his side. But now at 94 she thinks she hears him at her door. Soon they will be side by side once more, and she'll be sleeping in her sweetheart's arms tonight, as they'll be dancing by the light of God's pure light. For 40 years she's been alone, but tonight she's going home, and she'll be sleeping in her sweetheart's arms tonight.
PJ Brunson, what are you doing? Oh, that sent like chills. And here's, I put out this disclaimer: do not attempt to adjust your radio. The vibrations you are feeling is from Miss PJ Brunson.
Awesome.
Wow. Talk about nurturing. I want to go get married now.
I know, it kind of restores your faith.
Not for real. I'm like, wow. Why did I quit that last girl? So, but your songs, Morning Song, Crystal Glass of Romance, they're all like positive. I mean, if female, because if a guy wrote it, he'd be like my plastic cup that I drink from or something.
my beer cup.
Yeah, see, So you must have had a very happy upbringing, had some very phenomenal females in your life. Tell us about some of the phenomenal females in your family that got you to be who you are.
Yeah, well, let's start with my mom, who is still with us at 81, and
Yes.
she's phenomenal. She's an artist. She was a musician. I remember her playing the ukulele and singing 5'2" eyes blue, oh, but what those eyes can do. And later on, actually, when I went to college, she decided to pick up the piano. She was playing my piano after I left home. And she started writing her own songs. She's a Christian singer-songwriter. She writes children's Christian music. She's got one of my favorites is Butterflies and Toady Frogs. We've all been born again. But yeah, my mother and dad split up when I was like 2 months old. So,
Wow.
and this was back in the 50s, Tim, when
Okay.
women, you didn't get divorced. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was,
So
my
did that
dad's
have
the one that didn't want to be married,
Did that have an effect on you and your
yeah.
music?
Well, she was very independent in a time when, women weren't expected or even, they were kind of looked down on for being independent.
Wow.
But she was, and she had me, and I was 2 months old, and she came back home and went to work. And, because she had come back home, I grew up across the street from my grandparents, so watching my granddaddy play guitar and growing up with my grandma, who was a very strong woman as well. And her sister, my grandma's sister, my Aunt Pearl, was 103 when she passed away.
Wow.
She was a nurse.
All right.
She was a nurse, and when she was in her early days as a nurse, she worked with the Army. She would go out to meet the airplanes with the wounded soldiers, and so she had many a tale to tell. So there's just been my aunt, my dad's sister, was always the matriarch of the family, and I had a lot of really strong women influences.
Okay, so who was your first professional female musician who said, something, I'm going to be your mentor, I'm going to take you under my wing and show you the stars and the lights?
Huh. I don't know that they're actually. Well, I picked up a female mentor years later, like just not too long ago, actually. Well, in my later years, within the last 5 or 10 years. Yeah, it's interesting that you asked me that, because I really. Well, now here's one thing though.
Okay.
When I went off to college, and I had intended to go to University of South Carolina and major in journalism, but I kind of flunked the math part of the SAT. In fact, I noticed you're offering classes in math over here.
Yeah, you're
So,
right.
but I was an English major in college. But I started off in music at Limestone, and I had a piano teacher, Janet Dubois. It was a tiny little lady, and she had these short little hands. And she took one look at me in my first lesson. She goes, "Oh, we're going to be playing some Chopin." Because you have big hands, you can make these stretches, and we did.
Good.
And she was very supportive, and I still think of her very fondly. But, you know, as far as I was just kind of doing the solo singer-songwriter thing and the club scene and all that. I ran in some circles. I've played with some wonderful women musicians. I've had several different duos. Marisa and PJ, Kelly and PJ, Pam and PJ. In fact, Ann Wicker at Creative Living said one time I was calling in some dates. She goes, "Okay, so who is it this time? PJ and who?"
Oh.
Like, you make it sound like I get around. I mean, you know, I
So, you know, we're going to hear another song from Miss PJ Brunson.
This one is called Ghettos in the Cold, and it's a little different take on the immigration question, I think. But Cotton and I have kind of a Bernie Taupin and Elton John thing where he does the words and I put the music to it, and this is kind of how this one came out. Give me a time, you're poor, you're hungry, you're abandoned, you're abused. You're weary, huddled masses, you're forgotten and confused. Send those with terminal illness, send your children, send the old. And I will give them ghettos in the cold. In the cold where they're never free from harm. In the cold where they never will be warm. They will come here seeking sunshine, where the streets are paved with gold. But all they find are ghettos in the cold. In the days of our forefathers, there were jobs enough for all, to plant the fertile farmland and to build the buildings tall. But now they're overcrowded, and on welfare they are told. You're free to live in ghettos in the cold. In the cold where they're never free from harm. In the cold where they never will be warm. They will come here seeking sunshine, where the streets are paved with gold. But all they find are ghettos in the cold. As I stand here in the harbor with my beacon held up high, to guide them across the oceans and to guide them across the skies. They come here for their freedom, and in freedom's land they're told, you're free to live in ghettos in the cold. In the cold where they're never free from harm. In the cold where they never will be warm. They will come here seeking sunshine, where the streets are paved with gold. But all they'll find are ghettos in the cold. So I would say to young artists, do your thing, you know, find your voice, you know, keep plugging at it. I've been doing this for a long time, and I get tired sometimes, but I'm not ready to give it up.